So, hello fellas, it's me Verdict, and as you may know, a few days ago, pretty recently, I got a pretty nice run for the 928. Finally a sub 50. Took me long enough to get it, but hey, I got it. And as Potato suggested, I should do an in-depth commentary on it, analyzing it, explaining all the tricks and all the skips that we do, explaining how they work, why they work. And after some convincing, he convinced me to do it. So, hope someone finds hopefully someone finds it helpful, and this just doesn't go to waste. So yeah, let's begin. So yeah, obviously we start off with timer starts off whenever we press start, so you'll see the timer begins whenever I do that. And there we go, that's time. So first off we select file C because of how file selection works. So first off, whenever you press start, the first thing you're taken to a story mode menu. You can't even see it because it scrolls by very quickly. You have to press story mode, and then after that you have to select a file, and just so happens that story mode is basically on the same place in the screen as the file C, and there's virtually no buffer between when you press story mode and when you can press file C. You can press it like 2 or 3 frames later, so makes the most sense to do that. And after that, you see you have to press create button, but it takes a couple of tenths of a second before you are actually able to press that button. So during that time you can move your mouse over to that part, so that way you don't lose theoretically any time to what you could optimally get. And that's why this is file C is the best file to choose. Yes, file B is theoretically the best because B and also green, and that's why I have that as a channel point reward, but that's for another day. So first up we start off any run, any category starts off in tutorial 1. We still haven't found a way to skip it. We'll read some signs and we move forward. So we start off by doing this one did a double dive. So first off you can see that, oh, come on. You can see the first thing I did is I jumped and dived immediately. Initially not holding right, but then I started holding it. That way I abuse the terrain better, so that way I can double dive and still have enough space to execute a double jump onto this hill, and then I can triple jump and dive. Or never mind, actually, this is a pretty big time loss, and this lost me a lot of time, and I would have reset this run. But prior to the beginning of this one, there's a thing in my Twitch chat where you can redeem a no reset speedrun. And that's what Iron Lee did. So shout outs to Iron Lee, or Iron World, as he goes by different names. He made me not reset this run, and as a result this one didn't die like 8 seconds in. So that's a big what if scenario. So we're bouncing some Goobas, we dive over, and we're in room 2. Now room 2 is something to keep in mind. As you can see now I'm holding semicolon, and that's the thing that happens. Basically in this game, holding semicolon, I believe that the game treats it the same way as if you were frame perfectly pressing up, both pressing it and holding it every single frame. So like how I think turbo controllers work. Does not work on the ground sadly for frame perfect jumps, but it does work on swimming. Makes it a lot easier. So you can see I can easily stay on the very ceiling all the time. And then jumping off is a little tight, because if you're only holding semicolon, most of the time you'll just kind of go a few centimeters above the water and it will not be enough to jump over that bridge. So what helps you get out is once you're at the very surface, you press up, and that kind of makes Mario jump out of water somewhat consistently, and then you can get onto the land. Then we dive over, and then we get a double jump spin. Yes, you can clear this hill with only a double jump spin. You don't need a triple jump. Sometimes the Goomba placements make it so that triple jump is faster, but in this case it was more or less okay. Okay, this is where we unlock hover nozzle. Some precise dives. Can already abuse it, as you can see, bouncing on this Koopa. So right here, during the dive, we did not hover, because once you're at the peak dive speed, hovering actually slows you down horizontally, so it's better to not hover here. It is initially good to build up speed, because it's better to build up speed than simply diving. But then once you have the speed, it's better not to hover. And then in this room, the last room of the tutorial, we have Birch Skip, where we just jump onto a bird and we skip a good portion of the tutorial. And yeah, I mean, a good portion of room 4. So yeah, that's the thing. Then we enter the castle. We quickly skip the cutscene and we enter the castle. Also, a good thing that I know a lot of runners lose time to that. Whenever they skip the cutscene, first off they take some time to skip the cutscene, but whatever. And after that they take time to they stand here for 1 second and then they move forward. That's probably because they use right hand both for cutscene skipping, which requires mouse, and moving, which requires arrow keys. So you need to move back and forth, which loses some time. What I do is after going into the pipe. So at this point, you see I don't have to press anything more. I move my right hand over to mouse, over to the place where the skip button would be, and I place my left hand onto the arrow keys. My thumb goes onto the left arrow, and pointing finger goes onto the up arrow, and that way I can immediately walk after skipping the cutscene without needing to, put my hand back onto the keyboard. So then we have Eddie, and he would want us to go together along with him and give the first shrine, but for now we're gonna skip him because if you skip him, there's a faster way to collect his shrine later in the game. You'll see. So right now what we're gonna do is we're gonna use this castle shortcut. There are a couple of these castle shortcuts, just fake walls which you can go into. I guess developers place them there to spice up the gameplay, to spice up the castle, for people who want to seek out and find all the unknown. But in this case, it allows us to go into Bowser 1, and so we immediately go into Bowser 1. If you ask why we're going into Bowser 1 so early, well, the thing is, defeating Bowser 1 unlocks the floods. At the beginning of the game, you only have Hover Flood, but once you defeat Bowser 1, you also unlock Rocket and Turbo. And as you may expect, having all 3 nozzles is pretty much always better than only having Hover Nozzle, so unlocking all of them as early as possible is obviously the best thing to do. And also, immediately going to Bowser 1 is actually good castle movement wise as well. You don't lose any time to castle movement, so why not do it? So here there's a weird thing that you can see. I'm gonna just mess around, goof around a little bit. It's not gonna me actually lose any time because I have to wait for this block at the bottom to move to the spot. So here you see a wait, and now I go down the pipe, even though there is no pipe. Well, the thing is, there is actually a hidden pipe. Once again, a hidden thing by the developers. And at this point, you may be thinking, maybe you can skip the entire game because the developers intended you so. Well, yes, but actually no. Not everything is skippable. This is, in fact, one of the very few castle shortcuts which aren't in the castle. Most of the shortcuts that I mentioned, the fake walls, are strictly within castle grounds. This is an exception, and it allows us to skip the entirety of Dark World platforming stage and go directly into the fight. So immediately in the fight, once I spawn, I spin and then dive. That allows me to land right by the tail. It's the fastest way to get down there with enough horizontal distance. If you only dive immediately, you're not going to get enough distance. If you dive and then dive recover, it's going to be a bit slower. So yeah. Throw Bowser, not too difficult, not too shabby. Could be a little troubling, but once you get it down, you just gotta grab him and then spin him. And we collect the key, nothing fancy. Skip this cutscene, and now we're in tutorial 2. And as you can see, I'm gonna do something that's called a Birch Skip. I jump onto a bird, and then I stay on the birds, trying to get to these upper platforms. And as you can see, I did it. So this is not at all recommended for anyone except for the top level. These birds are always random. They go in completely random directions, and it takes a lot of mastery to know how to react to them properly, how to time your triple jump turboing, and when to double jump, when to triple jump, knowing how to respond when birds dive out of nowhere. And no matter how much you know, they're still gonna dive out of nowhere, and sometimes it's gonna screw you up, and so you're gonna reset runs to this. And yes, I did reset a lot of runs to this. So the intended path is obviously, you can see a water pool down there, pretty big one. You pound 2 switches using turbo nozzle to move around, and then the platform spawns wherever you can see that punctured line. So you move up it, and then you go. And that saves, Birch Skip saves on average about 10 seconds over doing that, but it is very tricky. And there's some cool stuff I do. So for example, you saw that during that triple jump, I stopped turboing for a little bit, and I only start turboing. Basically, if you have turbo nozzle, then you can have a little bit more height on your triple jump than without any nozzle, but you have to know how to do it. So first off, you can see that if I were to turbo right now, which I stopped turboing, then I would be facing downwards. The turbo nozzle would actually be moving me downwards, and so I would be losing height. So now I'm not turboing, but then once I get past the point where turbo nozzle is actually uplifting me, I start turboing, and that way I have a little bit more height than if I were to just triple jump without using any nozzle. So that's a bit of extra advantage they can get sometimes. In this case, I think it helped me get on this bird, perhaps not. And then here you can see another thing that I did. Triple jumping on the birds is a little finicky. You have to like get a running start for it because the birds move at a horizontal speed themselves. So for example, on this bird, it's already moving to the right. If I wanted to triple jump to the right, without turbo nozzle, it would be very tricky. You can triple jump from the very edge of the bird, but that's complicated. Not entirely sure how it works, so I just get a running start. And then you can see here I pause buffer. Oops. So what the heck is this? This is also getting additional height from triple jump with a turbo nozzle, but enhanced. Because in this case, I lose no frames not turboing. Because from the very first frame that I start actually gaining speed from the triple jump, which is now, because up until this point I have been restraining my movement and only spinning, you can see I'm immediately turboing, and so I gain a lot of height immediately. That's the thing about pausing. Whenever you unpause the game, animations start progressing one frame earlier than movement, so we can take advantage of this. And spinning is animation, and obviously getting height from triple jump is movement. So, and something useful to note about pause buffering, which there's a bunch of stuff with pause buffering that is useful. You can, whenever you're paused, so let's say right now I'm paused, right? I press P and then I hold P, and it's gonna unpause and immediately pause automatically on the first possible frame. So that lets me consistently progress animations while making sure that I will not progress on movement, and that makes consistent pause buffering, and it's useful in a few more places you will see. So yeah, move around, and here we have double rocket, and immediately we have another trick. So as you may know, you can only rocket once in midair with the rocket nozzle. After that, the rocket energy that you can see, the red bar next to the flood meter depletes, and you cannot rocket anymore. But I just did a rocket, and the nozzle meter is full! So, what is that supposed to mean? Well, as you saw on the ground, I paused on the same frame that I launched. So, I charge my nozzle, right? Charge, and then the same frame that it blasts off, while the animation shows that I blast off, but I am still on the ground. There's one frame where that happens. I pause, and basically what that does, after I unpause, animations progress one frame earlier, and I guess checking whether you are on the ground is also considered an animation or something along those lines. So because of that, the game has one frame to check that I'm still indeed yet on the ground, and then it refills my nozzle energy. But I already got the height boost from the rocket, because, you know, movement tells me that I blasted off, so let's blast off, let's go up. And so I go up, but I'm able to rocket once more. And that is double rocket. It's very useful. And here's another trick. You see that right now I have no nozzle energy. I'm gonna pass through this semi-solid, and it refills my nozzle energy. Once again, a little finicky. When you're passing through it, the game registers that you're on the ground for one frame, because I guess that's how it be. I guess there's a specific zone above every single ground in the game where if you're inside of it, the game will decide that you're grounded and will give you the nozzle energy. And it registers that for one frame, and here we go, it refills the rocket nozzle, and I can rocket once more. And that's called an air rocketing. And you see I do a bunch of those. Here's another double rocket. That was pretty slow. Also, the thing about double rocketing is if you pause too early, if the rocket still hasn't blasted off, then you can just do the pause buffer that I talked about earlier, and just advance to the frame where the rocket blasts off, and then you can unpause and do the thing. So I collect the shine, and as you can see, I cannot exit level. I can only quit game. That is because I still haven't collected a single shine in the game. Only when you have collected a single shine, you are able to exit level. And the game still hasn't registered that I collected a shine. It does not register that on the same time that you collect shine, contrary to popular belief. It kind of does, but at the same time the counter doesn't, and some actions are tied to the shine counter. Right now you can still see in the top left of the game, shine counter says 0, so I can only quit game. And after I quit game, I go back into the file. And since I'm already here, since after you quit game and re-enter the file, you spawn here next to the castle grounds, I can quickly just take advantage of that I'm next to this pipe. I enter this pipe, I go there, and you see I pick up this shine. You might be wondering, what is this shine? Because this is the end of tutorial 1, which we did at the beginning of the run, and there was no shine. Well, apparently, once the initial eddy sequence is over, typically you go to the eddy and get the shine right, the shine is still present. You can still find it anytime within the game if you just go to this section in tutorial 1. It just teleports to this part. So since we skipped the initial eddy, we can just collect the shine here, and it's actually faster than going through the castle grounds and talking to Eddie. So that's cool. And then we exit level and we spawn in castle grounds. Also, something I haven't explained probably is exit leveling after you collect. So normally if you did nothing after collecting a shine, Mario falls to the ground, and then he just goes like, here we go, and then he gets ejected from the course, and then he spawns either at the painting, or in this case he'd spawn in the main hall of the castle grounds. And then you have the grabbing shine animation, the coin counter, the save don't save, all of that, a lot of finicky stuff, loses a lot of time. So what we do instead is, as soon as we collect the shine, we pause and then exit level, and that shortens the animation a lot. It's a lot faster. So right now we're going to Bob-omb Battlefield. I'll go in depth later as to why we choose Bob-omb Battlefield and nothing else. For now, just accept the fact that I'm going to Bob-omb Battlefield. So we enter with a couple of dives to get over here. Shooting from a cannon is not actually fast. And you can see that we have all the nozzles. We have turbo nozzle here. Normally a typical player would do Bob-omb Battlefield before completing Bowser 1. So he would not have the rocket or turbo nozzles available here. But since we already did Bowser 1, that means for all the stages we will ever do, they will have the rocket and turbo boxes, which is cool. I can see chat freezer, by the way. I just concentrated on the commentary, so sorry if I don't speak a lot. Anyway, and you can see that I was able to equip turbo nozzle without actually grabbing it from the ground, which I did all the way back in tutorial 1 room 3, but forgot to mention. But anyway, you actually unlock nozzles when you stomp on their boxes, and not when you collect them from the ground. So you can see, as soon as I stomped on this box, right now I'm already able to just press shift to the turbo nozzle and just blast off. Takes me a couple more frames, but I do it eventually. And here I have hover nozzle already. Doing a couple of stuff. You can reach this above transition by just double jump hovering from that log. Obviously rocketing would be a little faster, but we don't have rocket yet. But we're gonna get it soon. So yeah, some movement over to the clouds. And here's the rocket. Now we have all 3 nozzles. Yet another double rocket. Cool. We grab a wing cap here, which we don't need, but it's on the way. And it also slows down our fall a little bit, so that we can just make it onto this island by simply turboing and spinning. Otherwise, I don't think we'd be able to make it. Also, right there, I collected the first star coin in the run. There are a total of 64 of them. I have to collect all of them, so that's cool. And it's time for shine cancelling. Yet another trick to explain. what is shine canceling? Well, it's difficult, and you're probably gonna reset a lot of runs to it, and you're gonna lose a lot of time to it because this trick is frame perfect. You cannot do the same pause buffering as for double rocket, for example, because you need your movement to progress. Animations is not enough, so you need to actually unpause and then pause. You know, you need to actually pause on the same frame that you collect the shine. In this case, I got it firstly. I paused on the same exact frame. But let's say if you pause too early, you need to unpause. Let's say I paused on this frame. I need to unpause and then pause one frame later than I would be able to pause if I were to just hold P. So it is frame perfect. It takes a bit of practice. But this game isn't 60 frames per second. It's only 32. So frame perfect tricks aren't too bad. So you can get pretty consistent as shine cancels with enough practice. So just do it. Yeah, in this case I got firstly, which is really cool. And now it's time to explain how shine canceling works. So how do I put it? Basically, first off, you need to triple jump into a shine. Single jumping or double jumping doesn't work. And I believe that is because the animation that Mario is in after collecting the shine is the exact same animation that Mario is in when he single jumps or double jumps. And shine canceling works because of overriding animations. Basically, whenever you're pausing, so once again I said that animations progress one frame earlier. So at this point, the game would want to put Mario in the state where he has the shine and he's in that single jump slash double jump slash collecting the shine animation. But instead, since we have an advantage of animations of one frame earlier, we can do something else. For example, we can dive. And so we dive out of this pause, and the game never registers that we're in that animation. And interesting. Yeah, we dive, and so for some reason the game never puts us in the shine collecting animation, and so the game never decides that we collected the shine, and it just lets us go. And as you may imagine, this is very useful because this allows us to collect a shine and stay in the course, not get ejected. So this is a pretty useful trick. We will use it a lot. Collect the red, moving on. Pretty cool silver collection. You can see that we can cheese a lot of stuff by just double rocketing. Also, something I didn't mention is you see that I double rocket and then I turbo instead of rocketing. Yes, that's something you can do as well. Turbo nozzle only works whenever the rocket the nozzle energy is full. So if you just double rocket, you can switch to turbo and get the vertical boost. So it just lets you travel, get a lot of height, and also travel horizontally quickly. If you just double rocket and then switch to turbo and then turbo, it's also pretty useful. And also, while you use turbo, you don't actually drain nozzle energy at all. So what you could do in theory is double rocket, then switch to turbo for a bit, then switch back to rocket while still in midair, and you will be able to do the rocket. And yes, that is something we do in the run, in several places. So yeah, we cheese a bunch of stuff. We collect the silvers. Have the shine. While the shine is spawning, we switch to rocket nozzle, which allows us to get over here quickly. And then here's another shine cancel. Once again, quick. Also, most of the time, the quickest way to get out of the shine canceling is diving and also turboing. So it's always good to have a turbo nozzle when shine canceling, because that way you get to the ground quickly and also get some horizontal speed. So pretty nice. Okay, we move quickly through this room, and then we're now in the secret. During this animation of displaying the shine, we once again shift the rocket nozzle. We collect this star coin. Oh, nice. Hi, Napster.
GG.
Nice to see ya. I don't think you were able to see the alert because I'm on a different scene, but thanks. That's very appreciated. 49 bits. Very epic. Yeah, nice. Thanks. Right now I'm doing a commentary of analyzing the run, and it appears that I will take at least several hours. So you better make yourself comfortable. some more movement. And you can, in theory, right now, I'm in the double jump state, and you could, in theory, just triple jump from that, from this block, and make it onto the shine. But it's a little difficult to do because, first off, you can not triple jump because you can see that I have to spin, and if you try to jump right after spinning, it will never do a triple jump, so you have to worry about that. And also, you can miss the block. You can, for example, bonk on the block below, or on the wall that the block is on this wall, or you can miss it and then land it on this block, for example, or you can triple jump from this block, but then you will go like under the shine. You will miss it. So there are a bunch of ways that you can mess up this quick thing. So I decide to back out of it most of the time, and I just wait a bit here, and then I wait for a good opportunity, and then I try cancel. And right there you see I didn't get thirsty, so what I had to do is I had to pause once again. So I paused 1 frame early. So I noticed that, and then I unpause, and then I have to pause once again, actually 2 frames later. Nice. And then I get the shine cancel. Okay, so at this point you saw that I had turbo once again, which lets me immediately gain some downwards momentum out of a shine cancel, which we need downwards momentum for in this case because we want to avoid out of secret, which puts you back into the main lands of Bob-omb Battlefield, and obviously the void is all the way down, so we want to go down. Most of the time it would not be advised to have turbo in this spot, because I would advise to have rockets if you're starting off, and basically for all skill levels almost, because right here you have to switch to rockets. Skip a little bit. You have to switch back to rocket to get up to this ledge, and if you run turbo, that means you'll have to do 3 shift presses, and if you don't time them correctly, then your rocket nozzle will simply not make it up to this box. And so having rocket nozzle immediately when leaving secret, you can just hold C while exiting and you will rocket up. And also that's the reason why you can't have rocket nozzle here and then rocket downwards, because that would mean you're out of nozzle energy. And so you wouldn't be able to rocket up here. You'd have to fall all the way down and then double rocket after this block once again, which is obviously slower. So then here I single jump rocket and then double jump turbo here. I see a lot of people do double jump rocket from down block. Yes, it does make it easier to get up. Sometimes single jump rocket just isn't quite enough, but it's consistent for me. So if you play around with it, if you practice with it, I'm sure you can get the single jump rocket up to that platform as well, pretty consistently. Okay, here's the Bob-omb King. It consists of waiting till he walks around, and then he throws the bomb, and then he throw it back at him. It is a little random how long he takes before throwing the bombs, so this fight is a little luck dependent. It's not too bad. Can lose a few seconds, or actually even more if he decides to do a bunch of those pounds. He can chain like 10 pounds together, and that's gonna be obviously slow. But in this case, he only did 2, so it didn't like overlap the timer that he would normally throw the bomb at, so it's all good. Okay, we defeated him. You see that after spinning to throw the last bomb at him, I single jump, and then I get the cutscene in mid-air, and that way when I land on the ground, I will immediately have a double jump, and then I can triple jump, and that just makes setting up a triple jump a little faster. There we go. Take a few more pauses there. Once again, diving and turboing to have downwards velocity. Pretty cool. Lost some time there. Normally what you would want to do is you would want to just you would optimally, after falling off of this, you would go under this green block, and you would just fall here, and then you would switch to hover here, and then you would hover onto the star coin. But sometimes, for example in this case, I go up to the platform. I don't know what causes it. Maybe something to do with the cycles, most likely. So I have to just switch to hover and then go here. Lost a little bit of time, but not too bad. Right here you can see that I leave the room and then immediately re-enter it. That was not a mistake, because we collected 8 red coins, and as you know, when you collect 8 red coins, a shine spawns, and there's a little cutscene for when the shine spawns. But the cutscene only triggers whenever you enter the room in which the shine is, which is this room we're currently in. So if you enter the room, then immediately leave it, you will skip the cutscene. You'll skip the cutscene of the shine spawning, and then you can re-enter the room and just keep going with the shine having already spawned. And it saves a little bit of time over having to just wait for the shine to spawn in. Last star coin, and right here you can see that I paused and I quit game actually. And this is where we get to another trick. Now look at this. We have floods. We have floods! That's illegal. You cannot have floods in castle grounds. Well, but you can have floods in Bob-omb Battlefield. And as far as the game is concerned, we're currently in Bob-omb Battlefield. Let me explain. So, whenever you quit game out of a file, the game actually does not check to update the course you're currently in. It just stays in the course that you were in. So in this case, I was in Bob-omb Battlefield. And when I re-enter the game, re-enter the file, the game right now still thinks that I'm in Bob-omb Battlefield. It forgot to reset that variable. And the game knows that in Bob-omb Battlefield, all the floods are unlocked. And since I am in that course, as it thinks, then I can have all the floods. And so right now I have all the floods. Now you might think, why do I need them? Well, what I can do here is I can go up here, and then I can cheese a bunch of stuff, because some people might not know, but up there is another castle shortcut, which makes a shortcut all the way into the last Bowser Free. So right now, right there, I could go into Bowser Free immediately, and you know that's useful for any percent, obviously, but this is not any percent. Indeed, instead we're gonna go to Tippy. I lost some time to that door apparently, and I'm gonna enter Rainbow Ride. And this is all because of routing. Basically, in the upstairs portion of the castle, there is Rainbow Ride, Tick-Tock Clock, Paltal Mountain, and Lethal Lava Land. And the fastest way to do them all is Rainbow Ride, then Tick-Tock Clock, then Lethal Lava Land, then Paltal Mountain. But to quickly get into the Tippy portion, which we're currently in the Tippy portion of the castle, the fastest way to it is the Bowser Free Castle shortcut. But the fastest way to go through that castle shortcut of Bowser Free is to have floods in the castle. And to have floods in the castle, you have to flood preserve out of a course where you already have the floods. So that is why we started off the run with Bob-omb Battlefield, because it's easy to get to, obviously, and you can have get all the floods in there, and then we can use that to flood preserve all the way to here. And so right now I'll do all the upstairs portion of the game. And I want to get it out of the way as soon as possible, because this is one of the toughest portions of the game. There's a bunch of hard stuff to do. So that's why it's so early in the run. But that's also why it can't be earlier, because it cannot be put before Bob-omb Battlefield, because I need Bob-omb Battlefield to flood preserve into Bowser Free shortcut to go into Rainbow Ride. So right now I'm in Rainbow Ride, and I'm gonna immediately quit game once again. This is also flood preservation. Right now the game thinks I'm in Rainbow Ride, and I do not have floods, as you may imagine, because I did not collect any floods in Rainbow Ride. But I can get floods. So there are places to get floods in castle grounds. Right here I'm gonna use another castle shortcut to go up to this room, and you can see in this room there is rocket nozzle and turbo nozzle. So if we right now collect those, boom, I collected one, I collected the second one, the game thinks that we just collected the nozzles in Rainbow Ride. So right now, if I were to re-enter Rainbow Ride once again, I would have rocket and turbo nozzle in there. And normally, getting to rocket and turbo nozzle takes some time in Rainbow Ride, and this just makes it faster. This makes a bunch of stuff faster. And you know, while we're here, while we're at this point, why not just do a random secret course? Why not Magma Maze, let's say, because it's right there. The entrance is right there. And the thing about secret courses is, when you enter them, it doesn't update the course that you're currently in. Once again, the game being chunky. So I can once again just have the floods in there and just YOLO skip the entire challenge. Quickly collect this star coin. And then I can go all the way to the left, and you know, at the end of Magma Maze there's usually a water current, this one, which you're only supposed to pass through when you have turbo nozzle, but I have turbo nozzle. Usually it takes a bunch of going around the magma maze to collect it, but you know, we already have it, so might as well use it. Okay, you can see that when I exit level, I spawn out of Rainbow Ride, because the game still thought I was in Rainbow Ride, as I mentioned. So now we re-enter it, and as you can see, I do in fact have the 2 nozzles. So I just double rocket all the way there, quickly collect some stuff, shine cancel this, and then I go into Rainbow Ride Secret. The thing about Rainbow Ride Secret is you might or might not know that when you enter it, it usually takes away all your floods, and so you have to do it floodless. But it takes 1 frame to take them away. So there's 1 single frame where you have the floods in Rainbow Ride Secret. Now you might be thinking, what use can 1 single frame have? But remember, pause buffering. While pause buffering, the game does not progress through that 1 frame of you taking away that nozzle. So if we had a rocket nozzle equipped entering the secret, and then if we just hold P, we will immediately pause as soon as we enter, and then we can just pause buffer while holding C to slowly charge our rocket all the way till it's fully charged. And once fully charged, we can just unpause, and look, the game took away our nozzles, but we already got the blast from the rocket. We already have the height, and so this way we can skip a portion of Rainbow Ride Secret, which is cool because the secret is kind of difficult. Now don't get me wrong, there's still quite a bit of secret left to do, and it's quite easy to mess up as well. So we just do it. I have developed a pretty consistent movement setup for it, except for the ending. I still don't know how to do the ending properly. In this case, I did it nicely. Nice. That seems like a pretty nice movement. So I collect it, and then I do the I pause and exit level. In this case, there's no reason to shine cancel, because shine canceling, you just remain in the secret, and if you fall down, if you try to void out, you will instead just die and respawn back at Rainbow Ride Secret. So it's faster, obviously, and the only real option is to exit level and re-enter. And now we can go ahead and do some other shines. For example, we quickly collect this star coin. And then here's the red maze. We're gonna cheese it a lot, obviously, because we have the nozzles. Ooh, a little slip up. I had a few slip ups here and there, obviously, because this one still isn't, you know, the best one anyone has ever done. I've only done about 500 attempts, you can see, which is a fair bit, but nothing crazy. So we just collect all the reds, collect all the stuff. In this case, ground pounding is actually optimal, because if you ground pound here, we can go past the Koopa. Usually if you didn't ground pound, if you just tried to fall down, you would bounce on him again, and so you would take longer to fall down. But for some reason, while ground pounding, you can go right past him, which, you know, saves an additional bounce and saves some time. So a few last reds left to collect, quickly finishing them up, and there we go. The reds spawning cutscene. Sadly, we cannot skip this one like we did with Bob on Battlefield Reds, because we're not at the edge of the room transition. But whatever, we can take that. We get here, triple jump. In this case, oh, I actually missed it. Yeah, this is the first and I believe the only missed shine cancel in the run. This is actually a really good shine cancel to miss, because it barely loses any time. I don't know how much, probably I would guess around 3 seconds. It's really not all that bad, because if you were to get the shine cancel, you would just go out of the red's room, and then you would spawn in this room that I'm currently in, and then you would just go up. So, you know, I just go up to this section. Like right now we need to go up, and the best way to go up is to go to that platform and then rocket from this platform. So right now we're gonna once again cheese a bunch of carpet rides. You're supposed to ride a bunch of carpets in Rainbow Ride, but who does that? You know, we're better than SM64 runners, so we can actually do carpetless. A little self-promotion. By the way, this place, Rainbow Bright Cruiser, there are a lot of enemies here, and there are bombs which can explode and then throw Goombas under your feet and make you like bounce into the shine or knock you into the shine. And so it's a good idea to just clear out all the enemies before that happens. So that's what I do. Because I have had several cases where I just a Goomba spawns under my feet because Bob-omb blasts it into me, and then I damage from it, and I damage right into the shine. And obviously, you can't shine cancel from damaging, or you can, but we will not get into that. Hi, April. Okay, so right now, coming up, you can see I'm gonna do something bad. I'm gonna actually take a death here, which is, there we go. You saw that I wanted to rocket from here. Switched to rocket a little too late. I was already out of the block, so I had some nozzle energy drained. So I wanted to go back at there. But then the Bob-omb exploded and it knocked me off. And while you're in the state of being blown off by the Bob-omb, you know, you cannot control yourself. So I bounced at the Koopa and I die. And this lost me a considerable amount of time. But anyway, we just double rocket once again, and right here we use hover because, well, it's a quite interesting room layout. Makes it the fastest movement. I did it quite slowly, but you get the general idea. I believe the Bowser Free Reds is the worst shine cancel to miss. I think I just did some calculations in my head, but I think Bowser Free Reds is the worst. And also, a thing about that double rocket, you can see that I kind of delayed my second rocket. I didn't rocket immediately, which lets me get more height from the first rocket, and that way I have more height in total from the two rockets, which lets me get onto the upper portion of this triangle, which means that I can get over it with just a single jump. If I were to not have my rockets spaced out as much, I would have landed on a lower portion of it, and then I would have had to single jump and double jump on the triangle to get over it, which is, you know, an additional jump, and that's slow. So we finished Rainbow Bright. I think Rainbow Bright was like the worst part of the run, mainly because of the death. How much time did the death lose? About 25 seconds, it appears. Pretty costly death. So I think that's the worst mistake of the run. After that, I played pretty well. So right now we enter TikTok lock, and once again you're going to see we're doing flood preservation. We quit game and then we enter the file. We dive our way into the castle grounds and into the secret room where we're once again gonna get the floods. Except no, we're gonna skip the floods this time. We're gonna go down and we're gonna go into Cave of Empuzzlement. You might be asking, Vertic, what are you doing? You're here to flood preserve. Why aren't you collecting the floods? Well, the thing about Cave of Empuzzlement is it actually has rocket and turbo nozzle at the beginning as well. Right here, and collecting them here is actually faster than in castle grounds within that frame, so we just collect them here and that's faster. And then obviously we can just double rocket to cheese Cave of Empuzzlement. Why not? Why not cheese it if you can't cheese it? Collect the shine and we exit level to enter TikTok lock, and we will have the nozzles. In this room it's a very vertical level, and the rocket nozzle is on the very top room of it, and obviously the rocket nozzle is very useful in a course like this. So flood preservation saves a lot of time in this course, very useful. Here you're gonna see I'm doing a pretty nice setup for the triple jump. It lines up pretty well, and this is actually a pretty difficult triple jump because you don't have a lot of space. So as soon as you triple jump, you need to triple jump going to the left, and then you immediately have to go to the right so that you end up actually within the shine. So it takes a bit of practice. And then we can just keep going. And a cool thing about TikTok lock reds here is you see I don't collect all the reds. I only collect the leftmost one, and by accident also the other one as well, but that one doesn't matter. Then I exit the room and re-enter the room, and you can see the red shine is right there. For some reason, if you collect the leftmost red coin on TTC Reds and then re-enter the room, for some reason that spawns the shine. We don't know why, it just works, and obviously it's faster than collecting all the reds. So we do it. Very cool. Shine cancel, and then we proceed to go up. Some more double rocketing shenanigans, and then air rockets. And we are almost done with it right now. There we go. And now we can see we're gonna quit game once again, and now once again the game thinks we're in TikTok log, so we have floods. And you may be thinking, what are we gonna do? When are we gonna do this time? Well, we are gonna do Bowser 2. Bowser 2 is one again a stage where it's really useful to have floods, and also it's kind of considered a secret course in the way that it doesn't update your current course, so we can still have floods in it. And you might be wondering, why do we do it exactly after TikTok lock? The thing about TikTok lock is that we do not collect hover inside of it, and having hover is actually not beneficial at all in Bowser 2. There's basically no place where it can actually save time. So having only rocket and turbo means that you don't loosen any flood usage, but you have to press shift to switch between floods less, and that just simplifies the switching process. So that's why we do it after TikTok lock out of all stages. So you see we're gonna cheese everything, just collecting all the red coins. It's kind of hard to make that cycle on the flame, but yeah, not recommended for beginners, but it is swaggy, it's cool, so if you can do it, then sunglasses. We're already in room 3. Collecting this red and that red up above. And actually this shine, missing this shine cancel, because we're going to shine cancel this, is one of the worst shine cancels to miss. One of the worst shine cancels to miss in the run. But I got a fristy on it, which is very cool. And then here we have Bowser 2, which once again, entering the course, we spin and then dive to get behind Bowser's tail as optimally as possible. Once again, this is the optimal movement. What a coincidence. We match through the dialogue, and then we grab the Bowser, spin him, you know, the usual stuff, just so long Bowser, all that. And then you're gonna see when we throw him the third time, we're gonna dive off the platform. Usually, after throwing Bowser for the third time, you get taken into a cutscene where Bowser talks about all the kind of stuff he's gonna do to the castle, how he's gonna destroy the Mushroom Kingdom with his meteor and all that. And there's a lot of mashing and a lot of time lost. But instead, if we dive off the course after throwing him the third time, a bunch of stuff happens at once, and at this point the game considers us dead. And so right here you can see that we respawn, but we already triggered the cutscene for the all the Bowser procedure, and that means that the key was saved within the game file, and that means we have the second key, and that's all we want. And when we respawn, we get respawned within the arena because we died in the arena, and it skips in the entire long cutscene. And once we are here, we can just pause and exit level, which is good. It saves us from a lot of mashing. Jeez, I need to drink. It saves us from a lot of mashing, so makes our hands not hurt. Very good. Oh yeah, something Chris didn't mention is actually you want to delay your death. After you do the Bowser free, the last throw, you don't want to dive off immediately. You want to lose some time intentionally. Because if you dive off immediately, then there is a chance that basically you can see within this death animation, I press save. But if I was to dive off quicker, then the death animation would have ended quicker, and I possibly wouldn't have had time to press the save button. So if you're too fast, you're actually unable to press save, and that way you don't get the second Bowser key, which is something you have to be very careful with, because it's sometimes hard to tell whether you got it or not. So it's better to just intentionally lose some time to make sure that you got it. Okay, moving on. This door you're usually only able to go through once you have collected the red shine But the thing about these doors that have certain requirements to them is going in reverse, like going from Tippy into upstairs. The game doesn't check whether you have red shine or not. It only checks when you're going from upstairs to Tippy. So we can just go there even without collecting red shine. Okay, Paltal Mountain. The very first thing we're gonna do while entering is something quite interesting. You can see there's a wind here pushing us upwards, and we are gonna pause at the very top of where the wind blows us, and then we're gonna pause buffer. And while pause buffering above the wind, the vertical boost that it gives you stacks with every single pause. So if we pause a couple of times, in this case I paused 14 times, that's the number that I found that gets me up pretty consistently. Then after unpausing, we can just launch up and into the room transition. And why is this useful is because we can then go into here. You know, when we go up, we go to the left, and then for some reason, I guess because of how the course is structured and the flaws within the structuring, we are now much further to the right than we were at the beginning. And so normally, if you were to simply go to the right to this mushroom room where the rocket is, and so rocket is good, and so we want to get the rocket as soon as possible, you will need to traverse 2 rooms which are pretty long and kind of difficult to navigate. But if we just use the wind boost, that's faster. Okay, now we have the rocket. Now we can double rocket and cheese a bunch of stuff, because why not? The lower you are in the wind, the more speed you get. That's correct. But also, if you want to pause lower in the wind, there's a high chance that you will pause too early and the Mario will still be in the ground pound animation. And when you pause while Mario is still in the ground pound animation, you will not actually get any boost from the wind, no matter how much you pause buffer. So have to be careful with that. Collect this shine, exit level, because shine cancelling is slower in this case, we're far away from any other shines. We enter the course, and now we can easily go up here. And you see, we have turbo nozzle right here. Very cool. We have the 2 most important nozzles in this course already unlocked. And in fact, this is another course where we will not collect turbo nozzle because it's not useful and it's out of the way. Collect some stuff, go for some semi solids. Coming up here is a silver shine. Collect 5 silvers, and you're gonna see we're gonna do something pretty cool with the shine. The shine spawns, right? We go down, and instead of triple jumping, we're gonna backflip into the shine, which, surprise, surprise, on top of triple jumping the shine cancel, you can also use backflips. In this case, triple jumping would be very slow because there's a wind blowing upwards, and so every jump is very big, and so it's faster to backflip. But usually backflipping is not optimal because you cannot immediately dive out of a backflip. You can try it yourself. Just turn on the game and try to backflip and try to dive out of the backflip. Only about a second once you backflipped can you dive. And same for the ground pound as well. You can't ground pound. So after we collect the shine, we use some more pause buffering until we get to the point where we are able to dive out of a backflip, and some additional pauses. Basically, we hold the dive and left, and then we pause buffer a few more times, and that gives us a bit of a horizontal momentum, which is pretty cool, as you can see. Launches us to the left. Right here, we're gonna enter TTM secret. Once again, it is a secret that takes you away your floods. And the cool thing here is typically the shine in TTM secret only spawns when you have 5 silvers, but you can see it spawn immediately. That's because we have 5 silvers. Because when you shine cancel, you know, the game doesn't reset your silvers counter. So since we already collected the silver shine, which required us to get 5 silvers, we now have 5 silvers. So when we enter the secret, the game registers that, and so the shine spawns immediately. The cool thing we're gonna do here, now look at this. So first off, the first thing I did there is, you can see in my input display, I tapped right 2 times quickly, which makes you dash in the game, and I also press jump, and I start pause buffering. So the thing about dashing is, Initially, the dash doesn't begin. First off, there's like a half a second delay before Mario actually starts running. So during that buffer, if you just pause and then start pause buffering, as you see I pause buffer a lot, you just start gaining a horizontal momentum. It starts stacking up, and if you do it enough, you're gonna have a lot of speed. And you see that I also pressed up, which means that I also buffered a jump. So when I'm gonna unpause after a bunch of pauses, I'm gonna go to the right quickly, and I'm gonna get some height from the jump. And you can see this blue platform is what I'm aiming for. I'm trying to land onto it with all that speed and that jump, so that I can skip this entire lower section, which saves quite a bit of time. It takes, I do it in 21 pauses every single time. And also something to note is, once I'm in the air, what I do is I hold spin. You see that I'm holding spin, and that gives you some extra height. And once you notice that you're on the platform, you jump once again and you hold left, which gives you some additional air time during which you can, move yourself over to the platform, and that increases your chances of actually landing onto it. And then you spend one additional time to increase your air time even more, and you land on the platform. Very cool. Hi, Daedalus. I make you sick. Cool to hear. Okay, another exit level, because once again there's no reason to shine cancel that one. If you were to void out, if you try to void out, once again you would just die and respawn in the secret. There's one more shine left to collect, and that is Paltal Mountain Reds. So let's quickly do that. We double rocket, get into this maze. There's a kind of maze structure for the reds. Collect a bunch of stuff. What's your next game category? 100% no flood preservation is what I'm looking at. Okay, we collected the things. And we collect the shine and we exit level. And we are very close to the Lethal Lava Land, so we might as well go to Lethal Lava Land. This is a very tough course, I have to say. So first off, this staircase right here can bully you a lot. These bullies, you can see they bully me as well, but basically you can get stuck on them a lot, and it takes some practice to know how to deal with them. Usually spinning does the job, but not necessarily. Sometimes you wanna jump and go to the right and then to the left in mid-air to jump over them, do an arc over them, which sometimes it's the only way to actually progress on the staircase. Basically, the staircase just is a lot of trial and error. Just experiment with it, just try to get good at it. Just get good for it. But keep moving. And in this room, we're gonna have both rocket and turbo nozzles. They're located very compactly here. Cool thing here is you say that I landed in lava, but I did not actually take any damage. That's because there's a dry bone shell here. You can see right next to the star coin. So if I'm able to bounce on it, which I did just barely, then I will bounce on it, and since I have already horizontal speed from the dive, it gives me some height, and then I can just dive over the entire lava pit, and that way I don't have to ride the gray platform. So save some time. Collecting the floods, and we go into the volcano. And as you may know, volcano is supposedly too hot for the flood, and so it drains away your water. However, it drains gradually, so it takes some time for it to drain, as you can see, during which we can still use it. So what we did at the very beginning here, you can see that we were at the rocket nozzle, we started charging, but then before we blasted off, we switched to turbo nozzle. This is rocket storage. So right now, the rocket nozzle is partially charged, and if we were to switch back to rocket nozzle, basically we would blast off quicker than a normal charge takes, but we don't want to blast off quite yet. We save up this rocket storage for later. Right now we're just gonna turbo for our way. Here we're gonna intentionally take damage from that Goomba, so that way we can damage boost through these flames. Otherwise they would be kind of painful. Right here, if you get hit by lava, and then after getting hit by lava you do some pause buffering, that gives you some additional height. And in this case, a few pause buffers is all I need is all I need to get up to this wooden platform. And once I'm on this wooden platform, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna switch the rocket nozzle, and I rocket it up with 0 water. That is the power of rocket storage. Once you have the rockets stored, the game doesn't even check whether you still have water. It just knows that there's a charge stored, and so once you switch it back to rocket, it continues the charge and it blasts you up. And in this case, it allows us to skip this entire section and go up much faster than what you usually could do. Okay, so here we sadly don't have any nozzles anymore, so we'll have to do this the old-fashioned way. We bounce on lava intentionally here to get up to the star coin. Keep moving upwards. Just some casual platforming, not the fastest in this case. I messed up the fast strat, but good enough. So right now, initially you're locked in place. Volcanoes exploding and you're just locked in place, but if you're mashing up, there's like maybe a 1 or 2 frame window, probably 2 frame window, that you can actually move around before the shine starts spawning, so we can use that to jump within that period, and that allows us to then execute a double jump and a triple jump faster, which is, you know, a faster triple jump setup, which is always cool. There we go, we do that, and you can see that after getting the pause, we do 1 additional pause. Right here, we got the shine cancel. We pause 1 extra time while in the dive state. You see that I'm holding down and left during that pause. So if you recall from before, this gives us some additional horizontal momentum, and since we're gonna fall down for quite a bit here, it's cool to have that bit of momentum. It lands us right by the turbo nozzle, so very convenient. And we grab the turbo nozzle, which refills our water, and so we can then use that water. Very cool. Okay, here grabbing that star coin is a little tricky. You can get trapped and then die from that lava, so gotta watch out. There's the setup that I've developed. Basically, at first you wait a little bit. You don't immediately go for the star coin. You go for it when it's pretty close to lava already, and then you turbo into that place, and then you don't press any directions while in this spot. You can see that right now I'm not pressing any directions, and so it pretty consistently bounces me from the lava and onto this platform. Sometimes you can like hit the ceiling prematurely, and that makes you land back and bad stuff happens. But if you go directionless and wait for a little bit, pretty consistently that shouldn't happen. Though that star coin is still pretty painful, so gotta watch out for it. Okay, another triple jump coming up here. Nice, a firstie. Okay, we're gonna go to the bully tower now to bully the bully. The bully fight is gonna go by pretty quickly, as you can see. We need to throw him into lava 3 times, which we just did. So while he was sinking from the last push, we initiated a double jump, a single jump and a double jump, which obviously allows us to set up a triple jump quickly, to shine cancel it quickly. So that's neat. And we get over this ledge and we turn back, and shine canceling that shine is only a little bit faster than simply exiting level, because it takes some time to get out of bully tower, but it's still faster. So we do it. Collect this star coin and then go into add a little secret. Now the thing about a little secret, once again, it is a secret that is supposed to take all your floods away, but it does a pretty bad job at that. Because if you hold shift while entering the course, right now you see I'm holding shift, right? Then I will shift to whatever nozzle I have first in the list. The list goes hover, then rocket, then turbo. Since I don't have hover, I equip the rocket. And that's it. I cannot shift any more nozzles. Rocket nozzle is the only one I can have here. Because if you try to press shift, nothing happens. That's just how LLL secret works. You can shift once at the very beginning to have some sort of flood instead of no flood. And that is why it's important to not pick up hover nozzle during LLL, because if I had picked up hover, then right here I would have hover instead of rocket. And as you may imagine, rocket is a lot faster than hover, because we can skip a lot of stuff. You can see that we just skipped like half of it, and let's skip the second half as well. Why not? Because we can do it. Here we exit level. And one more shine left to do in LLL, which is LLL Reds, which we do. Some movement. What I do on that staircase, basically, first I enter the room while turboing, then around this point, around the middle of the staircase, I jump, and that pretty consistently lets me, get some speed out of the staircase and get that red coin, and then in mid-air I switch to a rocket and then blast up, and that allows me to land onto this red coin. And then I double jump to go up there, and then I just proceed. Collect this metal cap, because there were 2 red coins on lava, which are pretty slow to collect without metal cap. And now, once we collect this, what we are now going to do is we're going to quit game, and now we can see we're going to do a lot of secret courses. So the next like 5 minutes of the run, we'll do a bunch of secret courses all at once, because why not? Grouping them all together just makes it simpler. This entire time the game will think that we are in lethal lava land, so we will have the floods. For now we only have rocket and turbo. For now that's all we need. We choose to do secrets after lethal lava land because, as I said, you only collect rocket and turbo inside of it, and there are some secrets which it's faster to not have hover inside of them. And so you may be thinking, then why don't you just do the secrets after TTC, because you said that TikTok Lock also doesn't collect hover. Well, the thing about secrets is they don't have any shine cancels, because there's only 1 shine per secret. So shine cancels lose a lot of time if you miss them. So shine cancels are a pretty big run killer, and because of that, it's good to move secrets as far away as you can, which in this case I do. I could move them a bit further back, but I choose not to. I will explain why later. So I do the secrets now. I let all the main courses be done at first, all the upstairs main courses, to get all the shine cancels done, all the difficult stuff done. And now secrets are a bit simpler. First up we have Galaxy of Stars. The fastest way to get to it is to once again use Bowser Free shortcut, and then just a rocket into the area. There we go. Right here in Galaxy of Stars there's not a single place where hover would help, so having hover would just be a hassle of extra shifts. Oh, lost some time on that silver. So yeah, collecting the stuff, collecting the silvers. There we go. And you can see I'm gonna rocket inside this hole and collect the shine. Now we're gonna have one more shine which we collect without having hover. That is Frosty Flood. Once again, hover is not fast in it. It's over here. Took some time on that double rocket pause. Collecting stuff and moving onwards. Okay, right now we are out of the courses which do not use hover, so right now we're gonna go into Secret of the Mushroom. Because at the very beginning of Secret of the Mushroom there's a hover box, and so we can just go onto it. And boom, we now have hover unlocked. Now for all the secrets we will do onwards, we will have hover. And, the game registers that now we do have hover in Lethal Lava Land, and the game thinks we're in Lethal Lava Land, so very convenient. There you see we used hover. And there as well. Yeah. We're gonna have a bunch of secrets. After each one we quit game because, that's how you don't update the current course you're in. Also, fun fact, it's faster to skip doing Bowser 1 Reds initially and do them later while you have floods, and also significantly easier. So if you're wondering why we skip Bowser 1 Reds at the beginning, that's why. We can do a bunch of cool stuff all throughout the course, just do big jumps like this one coming up. We jump through the entire course. And we get the shine. Next we have Edge of the Mushroom Kingdom, which typically you're supposed to I believe that after you defeat Bowser free, there's a cannon, like right there, below Mario right now, which unlocks, and then you can use that cannon to shoot yourself up to the castle roof. And on the castle roof there is a sling star and a wing cap, and then you use that wing cap to fly all the way into entrance to the edge of the Mushroom Kingdom. It's when you get 63 shines? Oh, okay. I was thinking either that one or that one. So yeah, after collecting 63 shines, but we can just cheese it by rocketing into that place, which also makes it a lot faster, obviously. So yeah, lost a bit of time from not getting that star coin initially. Optimally, you wanna, once you're on this cloud, you wanna double rocket and then turbo for a little bit, just a little bit, so that you end up going into the star coin. But you can say I turboed for a little too much, had a little too much speed, so I overshot it. So I had to do some readjustments. Here I did a rocket storage on that cloud, and then I jumped and turboed. And you can see that right now when I switch back to rocket, I rocket immediately, even though I don't have full rocket nozzle energy. You need to have full nozzle energy to be able to rocket, but if you have rocket storage, the game doesn't bother checking that. Another double rocket. Go up here, and we're already at the end of Edge of the Mushroom Kingdom, which is considered by many people to be one of the hardest courses. Becomes a lot easier if you have floods. Very convenient. Right here, we're actually going to use the mode door. The mode door takes you into a specific room and basement, this one, and it's actually a bit faster to use it to go into Thwomp's castle than to well, take the usual castle route. So we take advantage of that. That's the only time we ever use mode door in the run, throughout all categories, I believe. And once again, we skip the entirety of Thwomp's castle by double rocketing. The usual. If you can do it, why not do it? We only have 2 more secrets left. Here we go. Yeah, there we go. Jolly Roger Bay. It used to be a shine that we did at the very beginning, the very beginning of the run, but now, since we discovered flood preservation, we just do it among all the other secrets. Collect the stuff. Looks like I lost some time to sloppy movement here. GRB is kind of difficult. A lot of platforms and a lot of enemies, which are a little unpredictable, so it's kind of hard to come up with consistent movement. But obviously I'm just making excuses for me messing up. Okay. Coming up to the last secret, the Tidal Isles, or Tropical Island. Fun fact, so right now it says Tropical Island, but if you were to pause, then in the pause menu it says that the course name is the Tidal Isles. So call it whatever you want. Once again, another silver shine. Collecting the shine, and we're done with secrets, and you can see when we exit the level, this entire time we were in LLL. So very convenient. Now we can just walk over to the red shine, because now we have red shine. Part of the reason why we did secrets before red shine is because you only are able to access it when you have 24 shines, and while we did have 24 shines, you need to update the shine counter for it to display that. Because we can see that while I was still in LLL, the game displayed 17 shines, so it wouldn't have allowed me to go into red shine. But shine counter could be updated by either just sitting through the shine collect cutscene, which is slow, or quitting game, which is faster. And if we quit game, we might as well do the secrets. So that's the reason we do the secrets. The other reason we do the secrets is because red shine is a 2-minute autoscroller, and if it's an autoscroller obviously you want to put it as far away in the run as possible. And that's why at least I do sequence before red shine. So now we just talk to the mechanic, and then we just sit around going for the red shine. The screen slowly scrolls, sadly you can't skip it. We tried flood preserving into red shine and then just rocketing over to the last platform. Doesn't skip anything. You are able to sit on that platform, but you still have to wait 2 minutes before the fight actually progresses, so does not save any time. Then finally Kamek talks, and then spawns a big bully, and the strat to defeat the bully is, first off, before the Kamek starts his dialogue, or her dialogue, you want to stand on this pillar, on this block, and then the bully is gonna go towards you, and he's gonna fall into lava, obviously, because there's lava there. And then optimally you would want to jump over him as he's falling into lava, and then when he gets boosted to the left, you're already on the left of him, and then you spin him, so that he moves to the right and falls into lava once again. And then again you jump and spin him to make him fall into lava once again, and that's it. You defeat the bully. In this case I kind of messed up a little bit, you can see. The bully really did not want to fall into lava. It finally did. I almost died as well. Okay, and now we spawn here, because if you're in the secret course, the game in this case actually registered that I was in a secret course. After you exit level, you will just spawn in the main hall of Castle Grounds. So and now we're gonna go to Snowman's Land, because we haven't done Snowman's Land yet. Snowman's Land is actually a course that you can do at any point in the run. You can do it at the beginning, in the middle, at the end. I choose to do it in the middle, because castle movement into SL and out of SL is not tied to anything at all. It's just completely independent. The strat for... Actually, I forgot to talk about the strats. So for room 1, you want to start by holding left up and down. And that's going to allow you to do 2 quick dives at first. Then you go up to this rock, you walk off of it, do another dive. Then optimally you would land onto this ledge, you jump from it and then dive as well. And then in this case I bounce from the Goomba. You want to not bounce on the Goomba, you want to dive recover off of that ledge, and then you jump and spin to break the... maybe double jump and spin to either break those blocks or go over them. But sadly, since I bounced on the Goomba, I was still in the dive state, during which you do not have a lot of control over yourself. A little bit, but not a lot. So I bonked into the blocks. In this room you also want to hold the same buttons while entering, and it's going to allow you to do 2 quick dives. Sometimes the bob-omb is in the way to mess you up, so watch out for that. You do a spin to get up to this. Do some movement here. You know, the casual stuff. Then there's a specific place where you can land to trigger this ice bully. So in this place, the ice bully fight only triggers when you're actually standing on the platform. So when you're diving onto it like that, it doesn't actually trigger. And we want to trigger the ice bully fight while we're already behind him, because that way it's easier for us to just make him fall into the pit, which we do by hovering next to him, which for some reason takes him and then pushes him over. And then once he's there, we just jump and spin to make him fall back down a few more times. Set up a double jump to make us triple jump, and we shine cancel and keep moving forward. Collect the turbo nozzle here. We zoom past this room. We're gonna skip the Snowman shine for now, because we quickly need to go collect rocket nozzle, which makes stuff faster. Collect rocket nozzle. Since we're here, we might as well get the star coin on the way back. Okay, we're in this room. We do some cool movement here. You're supposed to double rocket off of this blue platform moving upwards. Then you do not rocket anymore. You collect this star coin, and then you start charging the rocket once again. Bounce on this penguin, and then as soon as you rocket, you dive and then that's gonna allow you to get onto the edge of this platform. Then you dive recover, and you can rocket once again into the shine. Cool. So then after that, there's, in theory, you can shine cancel Snowman's head, but it's very difficult and also not really all that fast, so we did not do it. Right now we're going to collect the wing cap, which is going to allow us to collect, or not collect, this star coin. Optimally you want to collect this star coin during this flying section. If you miss it, you're going to have to collect during Snowman's line to reds. A little bit slower, but not terrible. Still all good. We keep going. And in Snowman's Land Secret, typically you're obviously not supposed to have a wing cap, but we have wing cap, so we're gonna abuse it. When you use a wing cap into water, you are in this sort of weird dive state where you just move horizontally pretty quickly, but barely move downwards at all, so that's pretty cool. We go over the water, and then you're supposed, after collecting this Vanish Star, to go all the way left to collect the specific cap, but since we have momentum from the wing cap, we can just fly into the shine. And here you want to exit level once again, but it's kind of difficult to do because basically the shine is very close to the ground, so if you don't pause at the right frame, you're probably gonna just land on the ground, and you're gonna have the here we go animation and all of that, getting ejected from the course, the coin counter going up. So you want to pause as soon as you collect the shine. It's a little tricky to nail, but just get it. Now we have Snowman's Line reds. Once again, collecting wing cap is optimal. Since we didn't collect the star coin earlier, here we have to hover into it. Yeah, new high score. Every single time that you miss exit level, it has to be a new high score in coins. For those who don't know, when the coin counter goes up, if it ends up being a new high score for the course in terms of coins, it does an additional animation of taking the coin counter from the current course and then putting it into high score, which takes additional like 2 seconds. Pretty annoying when it happens. Here we're gonna once again cheese Snowman's Line reds. In theory, shine cancelling that shine is a little bit faster, but it's only faster if you like very fast on it, if you get a thirsty, and it's just not really worth it. So here we have Snowman's Line mace, the last shine within this course. Quickly cheesing it. It can be a little tricky if you don't know the layout of maze, but once you've done it a few runs, you can memorize it. You can just do it. And then once again, this is a pretty tricky exit level to nail, because this is the shine and this block already is a solid block, so it's very easy to miss the pause timing and just land onto that ground. Here you see what I did is I did a double exit level. Basically I exit level, then I held P during this exit level to pause immediately once again to exit level once again. Because if you exit level out of a course, it puts you at the painting. And then if you exit level once again, it puts you in the main hall, which is where we want to be now. Because we're going to go into green shine, which is another autoscaler. But this one's a little bit more interesting because it's more luck dependent and you have more stuff to do. Basically, green shine has a few phases. At first, Kamek simply throws enemies. Then she spawns the first green pipe on the right of the stage, then the second green pipe, and then finally she says that she's spent enough time here, spawns a big Goomba, and then you fight him and you get the green shine. Now, how long each phase takes is random. It can take, you can lose upwards of half a minute from it in the worst case scenario. At least for me, worst case scenario. Maybe you can be even slower than that. We don't know what exactly causes the timer to be one way or another, but we have a feeling that killing enemies quickly and not taking any damage makes it progress quicker. It's not confirmed, but it seems to be that way. So we'll just occupy ourselves by trying to take out all the enemies as optimally as possible to increase our chances of, getting a quick fight. So here the first phase is over. You see Kamek spawned the first green pipe. Usually it doesn't take too long before she spawns the second pipe as well. Any time now. There we go. Only a little bit. Let's skip it. There we go. She now throws a big Goomba, and what we can do is we can... the way you defeat this Goomba is you ground pound onto him 3 times. But we can just chain those ground pounds. We can jump above him, then ground pound. Do 1 ground pound, wait for a little bit in the air, and then execute another ground pound. If you just ground pound immediately as soon as you can, then the ground pound will just go through, because after bouncing on Goomba, he has a few frames or a little bit of time where he's invincible. So if you try to ground pound immediately, you will just hit that timing while he's still invincible and you will go through him. So you want to wait a little bit. Ground pound once again, and we got him done. Now the thing I'm gonna do here is, while the Goomba is dying, I'm gonna jump and I'm gonna spin to stay in the location where the shine spawns. And that way, whenever... So normally, when a shine spawns like that, at first for about half a second, you cannot pick it up. You can go through it, but it will not be collected. However, if I'm in this spot, then I could just hold P to pause as soon as this shine spawning animation is over. And then during that pause animation, you can see that the shine timing still progresses. The timing for when the shine becomes tangible. So we can use that to collect the shine while in the pause screen, and that saves a little bit of time over just going into the shine and waiting that tiny bit of time for it to become tangible. Didn't know this? Yeah, a lot of people don't. Now we go into Shifting Sandland. The quickest course in the game. Optimally, it can be completed in under a minute. So first off, you can see here we do a double jump spin. For anyone else, for most of the people, it would be advised to do a triple jump instead. Double jump spin is kind of tough. You need to double jump from a specific location while having a running start as well. You have to run for a few frames to get that speed. So then you double jump from around this palm tree. You need to... Basically, if I were to go any further, I start to go downhill. And from that point, I can't make it up there with a double jump spin. So from this point, I can. And I just go up. And I collect, nozzle. And I go through. Collect rocket nozzle as well. You can collect all the nozzles very quickly. Now about that pillar. That pillar is, the top of it is actually a semi-solid, so we can air rocket from it. However, it's finicky. Pretty often it doesn't work. The setup that I found for it to work pretty consistently is to stand on the left side of it. Like this portion right here is the one that is a semi-solid. And then once you're passing through it, you go to the right, which makes it so that you are more parallel. Your direction is more parallel to the semi-solid, and that increases your chances of the game registering that you are on the semi-solid, and that way increases your chances of getting the air rocket. And also, it's kind of hard to... That also sets you up pretty well to go right into the star coin, which is obviously cool. And we spin here to collect hover nozzle. So here we're gonna actually ground pound instead of diving out of the shine cancel. If we were to dive, we would just dive all the way down to the pyramid. With a ground pound, we can land on this platform, which is obviously a lot faster. It's very close to us. And then we just jump and turbo over to here. We have to collect this vanish cap because there's one red coin which is inside a cage, which is only accessible when you have vanish cap. We go down here, collect these reds. There we go. During this shine spawning animation, we switch to turbo. You can switch nozzles during the shine spawning animation. That's pretty cool. And triple jump into shine. There we go. Collect the vanish cap once again, because first off it's on the way, and also we need to pass through this section, which is only passable when you have vanish cap. Passing through it is faster than going over it. Go inside, and then we gotta double rocket to skip the entirety of pyramid. And then here you're gonna see a shine cancel this shine. Shine canceling this shine is not fast. It saves, if you get it thirsty, it saves like 1.5 seconds over just going to the star coin and then collecting the shine. And also there's a risk of missing the shine cancel, which if you do, it loses like, I don't know, 20 seconds. And the only reason I do it is because for the lulz. Basically, once again in my Twitch chat, there's an option for you to redeem for me to do SSL inside shine cancel in one. And some individuals have redeemed it a couple of times, to the point where I pretty much have to do it every one. Because at one point there were 30 SSL inside shine cancels in stock. So I pretty much just have to do it every time. And I'm used to it at this point. You can see I take a few pauses, so I actually lost time over just getting the star coin and then collecting the shine. But hey, I did it for the swag. So here we have another secret passage. You can go through this passage only when you have 11 shines, I believe. Yeah, when you have 11 shines you can go through it. So that is why we cannot go to SSL and then downstairs earlier in the run. Go down here into Wedge Y World, and now we're gonna do an entirety of basement. Just all chained together. At least we have Wedge Y World. This is a pretty cool triple jump. You can just set it up. First off, you do 2 dives to get onto this, then 1 more dive recover, single jump off of this block, double jump from this block, then turn around, and triple jump from it to go up here. Very cool. Raise the water level, so that way we can get into the cannon and have enough height for the cannon shot to get us over to here. And now once we are here we have turbo nozzle, and turbo nozzle is quick. And do you remember the TTC red thing, where we collected 1 single red, left the area and re-entered? Yeah, this has a similar property, but in this case you can collect any red coin, and then if you leave and re-enter the area, the shine will be there. However, we cannot leave the area, because if you try to leave through the way that you entered, you just can't. So the next best option is to die. When you die and respawn, it also works. And in this case, the fastest way to die is by drowning. Now the thing about drowning is coins actually refill your air, so you have to manage how you do with coins. The thing that I've come up with is, at first I just don't care about coins at all, because if you try to avoid them, you just wouldn't be fast enough to do stuff. The stuff that we want to do is we want to collect the rocket nozzle, but rocket nozzle is behind the wall, which is only accessible with vanish cap, so we need to collect a vanish cap. So we get to this section. So from this point on, I don't want to collect any more coins. From this point on, I just need to play pretty well to get to the rocket nozzle in time before drowning. So a cool thing here is, you saw there that I just broke that box without being on it. So normally you're only able to break breakable boxes on the surface, not underwater. You could spin on the side, but in this case there's not a single side on this box which is actually accessible. So it seems that you have to lower the water level if you want to open this box. But due to weird collision, we can spin into this corner, and for some reason that reaches all the way to the box, which allows us to break it, which is cool. Then I wait a tiny bit to make all the coins fall down. Then I slowly descend to making sure I don't collect any more coins, because keep in mind, if I collect coins, I'm gonna refill some of my air, and so I'll have to wait for longer before drowning. There we go, collected rocket nozzle. Now just camp here, waiting to drown. And yes, drowning does appear to be the fastest way to die, unfortunately. We haven't found anything faster. And here you can see the red coins shine. Cool. We exit this level, re-enter. Double rocket turbo all the way to this silver. Right now we're gonna do a silver shine because why not? Nothing too special to note here so far. Just casual gameplay. Also, once again, if you forgot, within this room, the silver shine spawns, and so typically you would have to sit through the cutscene of the shine spawning. But since we're on the edge of the room, we can just leave the room and then re-enter it once again to skip that animation. Alright, so saved a little bit of time. There we go up, and then we're able to shine cancel this. Then right here you can see that we're, whoops, what I just did. You can see what we're gonna do here is we're gonna double rocket and then just dive into the transition. The reason we do that is because we wanna, well, we wanna have nozzle energy entering this room, and also we wanna be high enough so that we can rocket and then make it up to this ledge, which is fast. We skip the entire bottom section. Collect this star coin and exit. Time for Boo's Mansion. So Boo's Mansion is, I believe, the longest course in the game. It takes about optimally 4.5 to 5 minutes to complete. So the first movement that we do is we go into basement. So I skipped over a bunch of stuff, forgot to mention. So first off, when you first enter this room, there should be a text box that appears that says you some stuff that you get lost or something. But if you strategically press dive as soon as you enter the room, for the first few frames that you enter this room, you're airborne. So if you dive at a specific time, you're gonna dive and then dive recover, then you can dive once again, dive recover. Then you can spin and you're gonna enter the door by just holding up. And what that does is you're never really grounded for one single frame without doing an action. And because of that, the game never has an opportunity to bring up that text box for you. So you just skip the text box, save some time. Go over to this section, and then we're gonna hold the Z entering this room to immediately ground pound onto this turbo nozzle, and that unlocks it, and that's cool. We turbo into King Boo, and that King Boo is pretty straightforward. You just pound the switches. It's pretty easy to bonk onto all of these places, all the blocks, and this pinner as well. So you have to watch out. Also, the thing about King Boo, aim for his crown. The hitbox of King Boo is kind of finicky, so you're gonna want to aim for the upper portion of it, which is the crown. I found that aiming for it makes it the most consistent result for actually hitting King Boo. Okay, keep going. Took a bit of time on that switch, but no worries, because that means I could meet the King Boo on the left of the spinner. Didn't have to go around it, so that didn't actually lose that much time. And the last switch in the last hit. There we go. Now the thing you can do, if you happen to just do hit the switches in a way that King Boo is right at this wall, then you can hit him and then immediately bonk on the wall. And then what's gonna happen is during this cutscene, while the shine is spawning, for some reason, when you will be in the bonk animation, the game will decide that you're dead. And the game will think you're dead, and so it will make you die, and then you will respawn. You will skip the cutscene of the shine spawning, and you will also be spawned right here, right next to the shine. So that's pretty fast. However, I believe that basically there's a fast cutscene skip and a slow cutscene skip. if the King Boo is very close to this wall, then as soon as the cutscene starts, you're gonna die. If he's further away from the wall, like a bit closer than he's now, but still pretty far away, then you can still get the cutscene skip, but it will be a bit further in the animation when you will actually die. And I believe that if you get that sort of cutscene skip, it's actually slower than simply not doing cutscene skip at all. Yeah, this cutscene skip is kind of similar to the one in Bowser 2, except not nearly as crucial. Go up to the shine, exit level. No reason to shine cancel that one because we're in basement, far away from any other shines. So the thing here is you can see that I purposely select shine 4 in the shine selection window. The thing about selecting shine 4 is that all of the doors are unlocked. Usually there are a bunch of locks that you have to collect all the keys within the Boo's Mansion. But if you select the red coins shine, they're all unlocked, which makes life a lot easier. We can just go through a bunch of stuff. We can immediately access this staircase and go up. We just unlocked hover. Takes a bit of time to get the rocket, but we'll get to it. Cable room here. These shy guys can be really annoying. You have to somehow take care of them and just pray that they don't get hit. So we just do a bunch of double jumps from these blocks. Then from this one you triple jump, single jump, and then you turbo into this star coin, turn around, spin, just movement. You just move around. There we go, we have rockets. Now we're gonna see a very cool setup for shine cancel. First off, we're gonna single jump, double jump, rocket into the star coin, then we're gonna fall all the way down, triple jump into the shine. Very cool. Very big double jump, big boy double jump. To figure out this double jump and then executing the triple jump, quite often you will find that you will not triple jump. Like you will fall here and then he will try to jump and he will do a single jump for some reason. What I found that makes it more consistent for you to triple jump is to hold up while you are within this falling. And that slows down your fall, and for some reason that increases your odds of Mario actually triple jumping when he lands down. So then he triple jump, there we go, dive off, fall down, and then we can proceed. Now it's time to collect all the red coins. So in this case, ground pounding is actually not what you want to do to go down here. You want to turbo dive, which is optimal in a lot of cases, what I've discovered somewhat recently. Now entering this room, I'm going to hold jump and then immediately stop holding jump as soon as I jump, which is going to then set me up for a double jump, and then it's going to set me up to bounce on this Boo, and then I can hover to get some additional height to go onto this platform pretty quickly. Then I double rocket. So right here where the water ball is, there's actually a platform here. So usually, you know, in this room, there are these green and golden switches that you hit in Boo's Mansion that spawn the platforms. But some of the platforms, such as this one, are already there, just invisible. So we can just land on them. And in this case, I got an air rocket from this one. So that means that once I collect this star coin, I can switch to turbo and then get some horizontal momentum to get over to here. Then I quickly grab this shine and keep going. There we go. Let's see if we get the big boy ground bound. Didn't. Almost did it though. You fall down here. Pretty casual stuff here, just, you know, moving around. So right there you want to start off by holding C and left, then jump, double jump, and as soon as you double jump you want to start switching nozzles. You want to switch to rocket, obviously, as soon as possible, and then switch back to turbo, and then turbo back down to the door. Then to figure out this room is you can first off do a small single jump, then a double jump, and then about midway through the double jump you're gonna stop holding C and left. You're gonna only hold jump, and that way when you land on the ground you will not jump because you're still holding jump, but when you get to the door, you will automatically enter the door on the first frame, which is fast. Let's make sure that you do not skip the door. And a similar thing can be done in this room as well. Jump one single time and then we just hold up. In this room you want to first off stand still for a few frames because of how the blocks align. If you weren't to stand still, then on this block you would just bonk onto it because it would be too steep, and then you would fall all the way down to the basement, and that's not good. We will want to fall down to the basement, but only when we've collected all the stuff here that we want to collect. Which is right now. We fall down, once again you turbo dive, and then turbo dive once again. In this room you wanna entering it, you wanna hold left, and then you wanna turbo and then dive. And that way, in this case I messed it up, you wanna be facing left, then dive and then turbo. And then in the mid-air, Mario is gonna kind of do a 180 and then start turboing to the right, which is what you want to happen. In this case I messed up. That way you're both gaining downwards momentum and right momentum. So it's the fastest. Here we're gonna once again use semicolon to, frame perfect up presses while it's swimming. Pretty cool. Collected red coins. Let's get out of here. You can spin over this gap to clear it. Here for this room you wanna first turbo onto this platform, then double rocket up. You just wanna hold C to do the second rocket as quickly as possible. You wanna land on the dab block, which I failed to do, but a pretty decent backup. There we go. Get up to that star coin, fall down to this cage to collect this red coin. Then you wanna enter this door, and then here is the room where the red coin shine spawns. But once again, we can skip the animation by entering the door once again, and then entering it once again, which you can just enter the doors by holding up. Pretty simple. Then we go up, shine cancel, and we proceed. One more shine left to do in Boo's Mansion, so we quickly grab Vanish Cap because we need it once again. Go up here, and then it's time for BM Secret. BM Secret is one of the few secrets which does not take away your floods, so we can just use them. Go over to here, double rocket, turbo, switch back the rocket to go up to this book. It's a little tough, but the gap is kind of small. But with enough practice, you can nail it. Go up, another double rocket. There we go. Star coin, shine, exit level. Okay. Only one more main course left to do, and that is Hazy Maze Cave. We start off by diving into this kind of invisible wall. Not invisible wall, but just invisible pathway. You cannot hold dive while entering the course because then your dive will be delayed and you will not make it up onto this platform. You want to dive as soon as you see remnants of HMC on the screen. That's the timing. Collect this star coin, go down. Then here we're gonna see a wrong warp. So first off what we did there is I started charging a rocket, then ducked, which puts me in a good position to then rocket horizontally, get into this box, and then pause buffer. And then here, this is a wrong warp. For some transitions in the game, you can pause on the same frame that you enter the transition, and then it's gonna put you in a different room than it normally does. It doesn't work in a lot of rooms. Most of the time it doesn't work. In HMC it does, for this specific transition and for a few others. So we can pause on the same frame and we enter the room, and you can see we did spawn in the room we were supposed to spawn in, but we spawned at the wrong side of it, which, lets us pass through the whole room easily. Okay, we go into this gap, we ground pound. This is a big boy ground pound. Shine cancel. And then here, there's a cool thing we're gonna do. this breakable block, you can see it's underwater. Usually you're meant to break it as Metal Mario. There's a metal cap pretty close by. It takes a few seconds to get. But what we're gonna instead do is, there's a kind of a slope here at the edge. If you stand on it, right now Mario's hitbox is tilted and part of it is inside of the box. And right now if I spin, you can say I break the box, because hitbox is partially in. You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to, get the metal cap and then a ground pound. But because there's a slope there, we abuse it. Okay, HMC secret time. It's just a bunch of water movement. Thankfully we have turbo nozzle, so we can move around quickly. There we go, another exit level. Re-enter, and you're gonna, while holding Z to get through this menu, you're gonna press on turbo nozzle, so that way you immediately have turbo nozzle equipped when entering the course. And then you're just gonna go here, go up here then here initially you don't wanna turbo, because if you immediately started turboing you wouldn't be able to jump off of this platform, because there's a bit of a buffer for this room before you can jump. So first you want to not turbo, and then jump right after. Then in the air switch to rocket, and rocket up to the start point. Then here you want to, after bouncing on the Koopa, you want to go left a bit to get yourself to a running start, and then go right and turbo for quite a bit, and then dive while keeping turboing. And if done correctly, you're gonna just squeeze through this gap, falling down very quickly. Go up to here to collect the star coin. Another triple jump. We still have the vanish cap from when we initially entered the course. If you moved fast, it didn't run out. Congratulations. We will recollect it, because when you shine cancel, the game resets all your cap values. Even though it doesn't reset a lot of other stuff, but cap values, I guess it does. So we have to recollect the vanish cap. Okay, then for this fall, normally when you fall for so long and you land down onto this corridor, you would, take fall damage. But if you start holding up just before landing, it slows down your fall and you do not take fall damage. Useful. Then we get out of here. Collect this red coin, then here's a swag dive. Basically you dive, then initially you don't really do any turboing because that would mess up with stuff. You fall to about this spot and then you start holding right and turboing, and optimally, if done well, you should put you into Sling Star very quickly. Then you just go to the left. Here we could go to this to the screen transition on the left there, and then try to do a double wrong warp, which is double wrong warp is basically pausing twice within this screen transition, which is tough to do. It rarely ever works, at least for me. And then you can be taken to a different room, which we now want to get into. So that would save a few seconds, but it's also very inconsistent. So I opt to just go down there, right there, into this frame. Get onto this platform, double rocket, collect this red coin, and then fall down. You want to hold up while falling down there, so that you don't take fall damage if you accidentally hit any of the platforms. Then here, entering this room you want to turbo, then jump and then hover, and then spin to get rid of the bully, to get him off of the platform. There we go, took me 2 tries. Then you're gonna double rocket, delay your second rocket so that it may get up to the star coin. Turbo rocket again. Turbo, spin, turbo. We spawn the red coin shine, coolio. Go down here. You're gonna wanna switch to hover for the shine cancel. It's also a little tough shine cancel because it's off the ground. So what you want to do is you want to walk for a bit on this ground to have more speed on the triple jump, and then you want to triple jump from the very edge of it to make it onto the shine. There we go. And then once you collected the shine, you want to hover for just a tiny bit, which is going to allow you to more consistently not hit this Goomba, not bounce onto him. If you bounce onto him, then you just fall down and take some time to get up, and it's slow. If you don't, then you can backflip onto this platform and then turbo all the way there. Then you're gonna want to spin right above the ground here to maintain your horizontal velocity, because in the air you can turbo faster than on the ground. Collect this water and go in. Then in this toxic maze, entering it while being in it, you wanna hold right and C. There we go. Jump on this block as soon as you land. Then here you wanna quickly tap left and then back right. If you don't, you're gonna bonk onto this wall. Double jump from there, then spin, then run for a little bit to do a single jump, then hover, then rocket up. Collect this red coin. A little tough movement here to not to land on any platforms. If you're good at the game, you can just skip a lot of the platforms. Then here you want to turbo for a bit. Then you want to stop turboing around here. You want to see there's on this platform there's a lower portion and a higher portion, slightly higher. So once you get in this higher portion, you want to jump and then spin. And then no, you don't want to spin. You only want to jump, which is just enough height to make it up to this platform. Then you want to double jump. And then here, the optimal strat is to just barely miss this platform, not land on this platform, and turbo, and then skip over that pit, because right there you can see there's a pit, just barely visible, transparent. I'm currently right above it. And then you triple jump, and that allows you to get right onto this platform very nicely, and then jump into the shrine. And then we once again do a quit game. Wow, more secrets! You're gonna do more secrets, really? Well, this time it's not secrets. We're gonna go collect the star coin prizes, because for 16 and 48 star coins, you get a shine sprite for each. We're gonna try to collect both of them. Here we shine cancel this one. We fall down and get this one. Exit level. We're in HMC because the game thought we were in HMC, and then we're gonna go into Secret of the Sky. For Secret of the Sky, it's not faster to flood preserve it, because you get rocket nozzle as soon as you enter, and it's very close to HMC. And it would take some time for castle movement to do all the way from outside of the castle, so it ends up being faster to just do it right now after HMC. Collect this red coin, this one as well. Then you want to here walk for a bit and then jump and rocket to get a big speed boost like that from the wind. Collect this coin. I didn't. Keep walking. Diving here is honestly not advised, because there's a high chance that, well, you do not see the platform, so there's a high chance you will just miss it, and if you're in a dive state, then you cannot rocket up, and you're kinda screwed. You'll have to fall all the way back down to earth and then rocket back up. Lose a bunch of time. So there we go. You need to ground pound to reach this star coin, sometimes even more than once. And then now it's time to get up. One rocket. There we go. Air rocket from this. Optimally we get an air rocket from that cloud. And also from these brown platforms as well, which I did. Epic. And then you go into the wind, use both of the winds to get into the shine. Exit level, and we're in the main hall. Now we're gonna once again use the secret passage into Rocket and Turbo that I talked about later to grab these floods, because now we're gonna go into Bowser Free. Bowser Free is weird in the sense that if you exit level out of it, you will spawn in a designated location next to Bowser Free. So in that regard, it is a main course, but if you just bring floods into it, you will be able to actually have floods inside of Bowser Free. and in that regard it is a secret. So it's kind of a mix of both. Once again, use the shortcut, go into the sling star, and blast off. So first off entering, we want to do another rocket storage right here. Then we double jump from this platform, and then here approximately you want to switch back the rocket to, blast off the rocket. You don't want to spin here, because if you don't spin, you land pretty nicely on this platform right next to the red coin. Then you land on this green platform, and then you could just jump and turbo, and you will just barely collect the red coin and land onto this platform and go for the door. Now the timing for this rocket coming up is pretty tough, because if you run on the ground for too much, you will slow down too much. You want to jump at a specific point. Basically you turbo, and then you want to like switch to rocket within 5 frames or so, and then like 2 frames later you want to jump. It's kind of just a muscle memory thing for when you want to jump. And then if done correctly, you will have just enough speed to not bonk onto here, and also not have enough speed to make it onto this door. Go to here. We set up another rocket storage. Spin over these gaps. They're usually actually fake floors. This one and this one and this one, they're all fake blocks. You can fall through them. But if you spin, you can clear most of them. Then for this one, we just switch back to rocket up. Get the star coin. The key's in the way, so we get the key. Now we're gonna do this room in reverse. Now here you wanna hold X and down to spin downwards pretty fast. More movement. This double rocket is very precise. It's like 1 or 2 frame window, maybe 3 frame window for when you wanna do the second rocket. If you miss it, then you're gonna not have enough height to get up to this ledge right there. The visual cue that I have is, you see these horizontal lines, right? So this is the second one, this is the third one. Once you're in between the third and the fourth one, that's when you want to start holding C once again to start charging the second rocket. Start charging it, and then you hold X to spin as soon as possible, because that way you get the maximum height from the spin. There we go. Then you switch to turbo and go back down. Then to go to this room, it's actually faster to not ground pound. It's faster to just fall off and then go into there. Single jump, double jump, spin, casual movement here. Here we set up another quick rocket storage, so that when we switch back to rocket here, it's faster, doesn't take as long to charge. This is a pretty cool triple jump coming up. I went safe on it, apparently. Whatever. Still pretty cool. So you wanna bounce onto this Goomba, because when you bounce onto it and you are turboing, you can just clear this entire gap, do an additional spin, and you're good to go. There we go. Now here, if you did that room at least somewhat optimally, you would still have the vantage cap. So you jump, then start turboing and double jump, and you were in this spot, and then you can pick up the star coin. Now right there, usually when you rocket, you get the air rocket from this bomb platform, and then you could just turbo to go to the top left room. I didn't get it, so I guess I have to fall back down. There we go. Not a big deal. Here we double rocket. The setup that I have here to get right into the red coins, it's a little tough to get it right into them. So I double rocket, then I turbo for just a tiny bit, then I just hold left. Like that. Then I spin here. And I missed it, just barely apparently, so the setup doesn't work all the time, but good enough. Once you get that coin, you just spin once in the air while turboing to get to this door. And then time for the last room designated for reds. rocket on over here, and then here you want to intentionally dive under the swamp. There's two things it does. First off, it spawns us right at this door, so that we don't have to go back. And second off, it refills our water partially, because you saw that I only had 1 water left, which is not a lot. But when you respawn, game gives you 50 water, which is quite a bit, quite a bunch. Usually you're not even supposed to have nozzles at this part in Bowser Free, so obviously developers didn't bother putting any bottles or any nozzle boxes here, so we have to work with limited water that we have, and dying is just one way to partially refill it. So then we go up, collect the last rat. Now, getting a triple jump immediately into the shine here is kind of tough because of these platforms blocking the way, these semi-solids. It is possible, but you need to have precise positioning. I don't go for it. There we go. Last shine cancel of the game. Double rocket into here. Then another double rocket here. Switch to turbo before going into the next room. Then huge rooms. I'll probably have to make like a separate tutorial for huge rooms, or I guess there might be already one made because they're really complicated. A lot of movement goes to huge rooms. Here we do rocket storage once again, because right here we use up a bit of hover, and we wouldn't be able to rocket because we don't have full nozzle energy. But because I stored a rocket, I'm able to rocket faster. Another rocket storage here. You might have missed it. And another one. Just right here. And then here we can see a zip. There we go. If you get squished by the ceiling, basically if the floor under you pushes you into a ceiling, then the game just tries to zip you leftwards to the first location that it is able to zip you through. And you can see here that the ceiling goes a bit higher, and so this is the first place where it can release you, and so it releases you right at the door. Oh, I unmuted. And yeah, this one, if you listen to it, we do talk a lot about beans. So if you like beans, this is quite a beans run. Okay, fake Bowser, it has a set pattern every time. First off, throws fireballs, then you stay under him, he ground pounds once, then he breathes fire, you get him, ground pounds once again, goes to the middle of the arena, throws enemies, then he once again becomes vulnerable, goes to the side, inhales, you can hit him once again, then he ground pounds you 3 times in a row, goes to the middle of the area, throws more enemies, actually no, ground pounds 3 times in a row, goes to the other side of the arena, ground pounds once more, then goes to the middle, throws enemies, and then goes to the side and you hit him one more time. And here I'm gonna do a cutscene skip. I'm gonna stay in the air for as long as possible, which normally after defeating Fake Bowser you're unable to move for a little bit, it just locks you in place. But that lock only triggers if you stand on the ground. So if you're still in the air while the lock is happening, which happens like at this point, it no longer checks whether you're on the ground or that, so you're free to move around. And that means we can go into Sling Star a bit faster. There we go. Okay. Do top runners of this game worry about potentially failing Bowser V shine cancel? Yes, we do. We worry about missing all of the shine cancels because they are all frame perfect. You can miss any of them. And Bowser Free Reds is the worst one to miss. Okay, here I'm gonna do what's called a dig into space. You wanna triple jump off of this green platform while moving to the left. For that to happen, you need to walk on this platform for at least a couple frames to get some additional horizontal momentum, so that your momentum adjacent to the platform is fast enough to the point where it allows you to triple jump. Get up to here. I hit the fly guy, so lost some time, but only a very minor time loss. Then I hold shift entering this room to switch to rockets. I missed a double rocket, but I still made it up. That's cool. There we go. Then entering this room, I hold up, left, and C. And then that means that I rocket as soon as possible, and I rocket into this platform, which consistently refills my nozzle. Actually, in this case it didn't, because I got hit by a bullet bill, I believe. Sometimes happens, but most of the time you should be able to pass right through it. Not a big deal, because I am able to land right on it immediately. Then jump and rocket, go into the star coin, jump and rocket once again into the sling star. Okay, a small cutscene here, mashing a little bit. Then here, True Bowser. Once again, there's a specific timing to where you want to land. Basically, you see that big meteor in the background? I'm gonna fall. And then as soon as the entire Mario is under it, as soon as the entire Mario is within the graphic of the meteor, in this case, I actually dived a little earlier, but basically you want to dive as soon as the entire Mario is within that meteor. Then you want to dive while holding right, and you will land right next to Bowser's tail. And then you just grab him, throw him, re-grab him, throw him, re-grab him, and throw him. And now we're almost done with the run. There's now about a 35-second cutscene with a bit of mashing. There we go. So now, escape 1, the first thing I do is I want to immediately switch to rocket, walk for a little bit, but not walk for too long, because I want to double rocket, and then when I double rocket I want to turbo over this platform. Now, why I want to walk a little bit is because there are these meteors, right, in the air, and they're likely to hit you if you're slow. So walking a bit to the left makes it so that I make it out of the area where the meteors are quicker, which reduces my chances of getting hit by them. But I do not want to still keep walking when the rocket blasts off, because the platform that I'm rocketing off of is a downward slope, and downward slope are a little janky in the sense that on some frames you're considered on the ground, on some frames you're considered airborne. It's random, kind of. So if I kept walking, there's a chance I wouldn't have had a double rocket. It would have eaten my, wouldn't have worked, basically. And also, I think the meteors still keep falling while in the pause screen, so your double rocket needs to be fast. The pause itself needs to be fast, or else the meteors are going to catch up and you're going to definitely hit them, and then bad stuff is going to happen. So this is a pretty tough strat, but it's a pretty big boy strat as well. Moving on, for escape 2, I wanna when I'm in this black transition completely, I wanna start holding up, and you say I do. Then I'm gonna jump in this room at a consistent time, keep holding up. Then when I pass through this meteor right there, I'm gonna start holding X to spin. I spin, bounce on this cube consistently, then keep turboing for a little bit, and then dive and turbo for a little bit, so that I'm able to go under this big thing without bonking into it. And then for this last room, escape 3, as soon as I see a little bit of escape 3 right now, I start holding up, and that once again makes me jump at a consistent time. Then I keep holding jump. I bounce on this Koopa. As soon as I bounce onto it, I start holding X, and then there's a bit of a buffer time after bouncing to when you can start actually spinning, so I spin at a consistent time every time. I hit this platform, I want to walk for a few frames, or like one single frame, then double jump, still keep holding, and then I'm gonna bounce on this Koopa. As soon as I bounce on this Koopa, or a little later, I'm gonna switch to rockets, and then I'm gonna rocket into the loading zone. And that's it. That's the run. We did it. And this is how you play Super Mario 63 100% optimally in under 50 minutes. Hot damn, that was a long commentary. Took like almost 2.5 hours on that one. Damn. I wonder if anyone's gonna bother watching this one. Otherwise, damn, my mouth is dead. My mouth actually hurts to speak at this point. So I'm glad it's over. But anyway, uh, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned anything new here. Hope you learned any new tricks that you didn't know before. And I hope that now I'm gonna see the leaderboards populated with more and more sub 50s. May I expect that to happen, guys? I may. I hope so. So yeah, thanks for watching and goodbye.